Hello, streaming to you live. I'm Gordon with Unlock Your Bioenergy. Today is Saturday, April 4th, 2026. And today I want to talk about faster recovery from exercise. And after that, I'm going to do a 10-minute hit with some fitness stress testing. And today I bring this topic to you because it's something that I've talked about previously and comes from episode number 23, way back some time ago. And let's have a listen to the testimonial that's in this particular episode, which was back on July 22nd, 2025. Here is the testimonial that I have picked up for you.
For me, I'll be real. I didn't start to feel really any effects till about a month or so, consistently using it, just to see how my body feels. Not change up my routine and see if I've seen anything different. You know, a couple things I want to show you that I've seen is my sleep. And I'm a night shift nurse, work 12 hours, and I pump in a lot of overtime. So sometimes it's really hard for me to get good sleep. You know, maybe I'll run 3 or 4 hours and I'm just burnt. But this patch, I've been noticed my sleep has been good. I've been waking up, I've been feeling awesome. Secondly, I'm an ex-collegiate wrestler. So I've dealt with a lot of injuries, mainly my shoulder. The 2 spots it says to put on is the back of the neck and then just below the belly button. I've been putting it on my shoulder, the affected one. And I mean, I've dealt with rotator cuff tears, strains, sprains, and putting that on has eliminated my pain. I don't know how many brands of collagen powder I've used. It doesn't take the cake except this. I've been able to hit the gym hard, work out good, do those military presses, still go in the wrestling room with buddies, roll around, hit, and there's no effect. So it's been awesome.
So,
For me, I'll be real.
in that presentation, this young fellow, he's younger than I am, he talks about using the X39 as part of his daily routine because he works as a night shift nurse. And with that, he talks about the recovery aspect that he experienced after beginning to use the technology, which I show is here. This is the X39. And his testimonial is unique because being a night shift worker, he's not exposing himself to the sunlight, because generally when he's sleeping, you're not going to sleep in the sunlight because it's not very probably easily done, because the light acts as a trigger to wake you up. Now, sleeping in direct sunlight is for some could be challenging, because if you have a lot of toxins in your skin, then they react to the sunlight because it's burning from the exposure to the light. But if you're missing that deep infrared light from the sun itself, then you're missing out on the opportunity to reap the benefits from the synthesization of amino acids, which I describe them as the 3 aminos. That is glycine, histidine, and lysine. And those 3 amino acids are valuable when it comes to synthesizing the GHK peptide in your body. Now, if you're missing out on the deep infrared light activation that stimulates the process of photobiomodulation inside the body, then you will likely not reap the benefits of the king of all kings, the GHK peptide that heals your body. And we all have this, and it's just a matter of whether or not you trigger it to occur, much like triggering hypertrophy to occur from that of exercise. Now, I'm speaking more about resistance training exercise because that creates more hypertrophy. But if you are in any athletic sport, running, where you're competing, then you're going to put yourself through the paces, and you will essentially create hypertrophy as well if you do it long enough. And that's through repetition. Now, how many people, generally speaking, don't do that? There's a large percentage of the population. And because of that, then are they not interested in fueling the body with the 3 aminos? Some eat well and some don't, and many don't. And the quality of those amino acids are going to be important in the grand scheme of things in terms of managing your overall health and longevity. So when I talk about the different if you want to call it pillars or foundational pieces, do they all play a role when you combine them together? The answer will always be yes, because the body is a master at compensating for things. And if you neglect to fuel it, much like neglecting to put the right kind of fuel in your gasoline-powered vehicle, is it going to run correctly? Well, if you put diesel, it ain't going to run correctly. And the same rules apply to the human body. If you put alcohol in your body, is it going to run? Not going to run. If you put the cleanest and most absorbable water, is your body gonna run the way it's supposed to? There's a polar difference between the two. Now, some may argue that alcohol will provide some sort of fuel, but there comes a point where it doesn't do any good anymore if you overdo it. Now, can you overdo it on water? Yeah, you can. But technically speaking, you really can't. Your thirst will be quenched before you can even continue drinking anymore. My point is that faster recovery can be experienced if you choose to do it. And when I talk about just doing it, I'm talking about pulling the trigger, powering your body with the best. And if you click on the link in the description, you'll find it'll take you to the combo, the discounted bundle of the X49 and the X39. So today I'm wearing the X39 on this acupuncture point, along with the X49. I placed it right here. So I don't have to stick it onto my skin. The X49, I just apply it like this, and then when I'm done exercising, I take it off. And I can tell when the activation occurs because I can sense it through my sinuses, and I've talked about this in the past. Largely because when I have the 3 aminos that are floating around for the GHK from that the X39 triggers, and the AHK, which is the X49 triggers, they both use 3 amino acids, but there's a distinct difference between the GHK and the AHK. And when they combine with Cu, which is copper, inside the body, that's when it becomes quite pronounced. And I can sense that when it happens. Now, some will say, well, what are you eating for copper? Or what are you eating for the 3 amigos or the 3 aminos? Well, for the GHK, you need to have glycine, histidine, and lysine. And for the AHK, you need alanine, histidine, and lysine. Much the same as another 3 amigo for the glutathione, you need glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. So for all those people who know about the PDCAA scale, generally will know that lysine and histidine and glycine are all part of that scale. So when you provide your body with a complete amino acid profile, you're giving your body the opportunity to win when it comes to recovery, health, and longevity. This is why lots of people in the fitness industry know about it. They may not know about the specific peptides that your body synthesizes, and there seems to be a growing popularity with regards to injecting these synthetic versions of peptides that your body already produces. And quite frankly, it rubs me the wrong way, because why would you spend more money on something when your body already does it? But if your body is not synthesizing those peptides correctly, then what else is causing the problem? Is it a lackluster digestive system that's preventing your body from optimizing, the food that you're giving it? And in many cases, that's probably a problem for most people, because they don't have the proper gastric juice, aka that's part of these peptides, in your stomach to break down these proteins. And if you don't have the proper gastric juice in your stomach, then you don't have hydrochloric acid that's strong enough to break down the proteins. And what is needed for hydrochloric acid? Water. You need the hydrogen from it, and you need the sodium. So when people say, "Oh yeah, you have acid reflux," and that's the result of your body trying to compensate for not enough salt. So it's overproducing acid because it's not strong enough. And that stomach acid, when it's not strong enough, your body's going to produce more of it so it can break down the foods. And that's why people have acid reflux. Yeah, interesting how things just kind of compound. So good health is not complicated. You just got to listen to your body and figure it out. Now, when I talk about dissolving a pinch of salt underneath your tongue and letting your saliva break it down and then swallowing it, am I harming my body? No, I'm not. I'm doing it intentionally to strengthen the stomach acid. And then when I drink the water, not only does the stomach acid get properly developed, but then the water is also absorbed into my body, into cells. And I know this for a fact because with the amount of skipping that I do on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh man, I get cramps all the time." Well, you're dehydrated for one, and you don't have enough magnesium that you're getting from the salt, and you need it. So if you want to do an Ironman competition or marathon or whatever kind of running thing, you got to make sure you have enough salt, so that way your body's absorbing the water. Then you'll be able to do it. You'll have you'll avoid the muscle cramps that are associated with repetition. And I'll be the first to tell you, I experienced that, and for me, what changed is when I started drinking this water, what I call deuterium free, with a hydrogen bond angle of 114 degrees, and combine that with good salt, Celtic salt, Redmond real salt that has the three forms of magnesium in it, and then now apply the three amigos, the three aminos. Like, I was already doing that before, but I was missing out on the other two pieces, which is the water and the salt. And since adding that, along with doing the deep infrared light activation from that of the X39 and the X49, now I'm really starting to notice the differences, especially when I'm performing these Feel It Friday workouts, which I did again yesterday, and it was a good solid effort. I'm sure if you tried to keep up with me, you say, "Man, he's got a lot of gas in the tank." Yeah, I do. And it has a lot to do with just being consistent, good choices on a week-to-week basis, and then being able to demonstrate to you firsthand here live. No, I'm doing it for myself. I benchmark against myself. I don't need anybody to motivate me to come down here and to do this on a regular basis. Nobody has to tell me this. Not one. And I've been this way for years. And today I'll do another fitness stress test where I'm going to try the different ropes and see how it goes. Because my goal is to constantly improve, consistently improve if I can, and to test myself. Where's my limit? At my age of 49 years old, will I reach a plateau? I think eventually I will. Everyone does. You find that plateau. But if you're in competitive sports, you always want to find that 1 extra percent. 1% advantage is huge at the highest levels. Now 1% might be too much. Maybe it's only 0.5%. And can the choices that I make help you? When it comes to your VO2 max, your endurance, your tolerance, your anaerobic ability? Does it help with your mental focus? Like all these things, they add up. They all combine together into you, into me. And speaking of adding up, the other day I talked about retiring my shoes. These are those ones that I've been wearing now I've had these for a long time. And they're, you can see here how the shoe is, breaking. And this has progressively broken because it's here. The crack in the shoe is basically in the bend, where I'm stepping. And I've skipped a lot with these shoes, so they've been through the ringer. And I thought, I wonder how much these things weigh. So I went and I put this on the scale and compared it against my new shoes that I currently have on, which is they were in the box over there. So this one here, the right one, was 396 grams. The left one of this pair was 383 grams. So I thought, well, that's kind of on the heavy side. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to weigh the new shoes that I have. The left one, which I've got here, is 290 grams. And the right one is 291. And I thought, that's like 100 grams difference between the old pair and the new pair. So I'm wondering if that's going to have an effect on the fitness stress test that I'm going to do today. And that's with the 250 skips in 67 seconds. So it's just a little observation. You hear about sprinters, for example, wearing the lightest of shoes when they're sprinting down, the 100 meters to set the new world record. So, does the equipment you use have an effect on your performance? Of course it does. No different than wearing a heavy helmet, let's say in football or racing, Formula One racing, for example. When the drivers are hitting the brakes and the head goes forward, they have these bracket things to help the head from hitting the steering wheel kind of thing, right? But they have to develop the strength as well. Now their equipment obviously has to meet a certain safety requirement. So if the helmet is heavy, it has to be heavy, so because it needs to be safe. But when it comes to footwear, well, then that's a different story, right? So it'll be interesting to see how this test goes today. So with that, that's enough talking for today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation that I shared with you, talking about faster recovery. And I'm going to kind of test that too today with the different ropes, and we'll see how that goes. And if you haven't done so, try it. I think you'll be delighted with its effects. But make sure you remember the three amigos, aka the three aminos, because without them, these don't work. Doesn't work. And that at the same goes if you're walking out in the sunlight. If you're getting sunlight for free every single day, well then wearing this may not be as beneficial as opposed to drinking the cleanest and most absorbable water. Because that, in my mind, is an important piece. And I know this for a fact because of what the horse's mouth talked about yesterday in the presentation I shared with you. So, speaking of horse's mouth, let's get this horse moving. So I'm going to turn up you hear the Bluetooth speaker. I'm going to set the metronome at 165. Let's see here. That's good. And I turn on the heart rate monitor. So you can see here. That's my heart rate that's going to show when it connects. Come on. There we go. Finally it connects. So, today I'm going to use the ropemaster as well as the beaded rope and the black rope for the fitness test. But for the HIIT, I'm just going to use this rope to begin with. And let's begin. So, when the screen turns green for the high intensity, that's when I'm going to match the tempo of 165 beats per minute, which is revolutions. Oh gosh, I should calculate what that is. Revolutions per second. I think it's around 3. My feet definitely feel lighter now that I know the shoes are 100 grams. You wouldn't think it's much, but it adds up. Feels nice and smooth. this rope. Twice. What's going on? Goodness. Single leg crisscrosses. So I'm just going to try a basic bounce at the speed of 165. So for this next one, I'm going to try some double unders, I think. Just do double unders for 30 seconds. All right. Felt good. Just pouring myself some deuterium-free water. This is the temperature down here, as you can see, in Fahrenheit, and then in Celsius. So it's kind of cold down here. The water is also cold, but it's refreshing. And if you like drinking cold water, try deuterium free with a molecular bond angle of 114. It's really smooth. It's noticeably different, especially when you put it in your mouth and you can feel the absorption happening. So, I will be setting the metronome at 224. That is the the speed that I have been testing myself with the last few weeks, and I've gotten very close to reaching the goal of 250 skips with this rope which you can see here has got that kink in it, right, where it's broken at the bottom. So, you know, by using that rope, essentially, I'm trying to keep the metrics the same. So it's like if you're going to run a 100-meter sprint, 100-meter dash, and you know, in order to do it faster, you got to run faster. So, and in order to do this test faster, I got to spin the rope faster. And by keeping the the equipment the same, or the variables the same, then at least I have a benchmark to compare against, which is my own benchmark. And doing it this way, I have experienced not only an increase in performance, but also higher goals. So it's not easy to perform this test, largely because it's tough. And when things are difficult, then you got to really dig deep to try to find the energy to do it. Now, since I have been wearing the X49, that has provided an extra level of oomph, if you want to call it. And I'm starting to sense the activation from it now. That has been a good half an hour worth of, you know, wearing this. So my body is in the process now of making those peptides. You know, I'm getting that tap on the shoulder saying, hey, don't forget about those peptides. They can help you with something. And it does. I can feel the difference. And not only in the stress test, but also in the Feel It Friday sessions that I have been doing with the cards. And to prove that I'm 49, you can see the white hair in my beard, or my facial hair, should I say. I don't have a beard. It hasn't been strong for me, but that's okay. At least I still look young. So, with the fitness stress test, the past number of weeks I've been wearing a hat of sorts. I didn't do it last week, and I thought, okay, I'm just not going to pay attention to what I see on the screen. Just going to focus on what I am doing to get through this stress test. So, in today's test, I'm going to first start the one with the black rope. Then I'm going to switch to the beaded rope, which is this guy. I will try the second attempt. And then I will do a third attempt with the ropemaster. Now, last week with the ropemaster, I did the 250 skips at 224 with ease. Now, I attribute the differences in my ability to do it because of the rope length, but also the type of rope. The Buddy Lee, the handles are they're lighter, or the ropemaster, whereas this one here, the handles are heavier. So it takes more energy to swing the rope, to spin it. And because of that, my forearms and my arms, they fatigue faster due to the repetitions. So this plays a role in this test. But with the ropemaster, easy peasy. 224, tempo of 224, so 3.76 revolutions. What do I have written there on the screen? 3.7313 revolutions per second. With that rope, it's simple. I have no issue. So today's attempt with the black rope is going to be interesting because my shoes are 100 grams lighter. So will that allow more energy to be shifted, per se, let's say to my arm, to my hands, as a result? Well, it's going to be interesting to see because, you know, things add up wherever they are. So body is master at compensating for distributing energy and creating it by way of ATP. So it's going to be an interesting test from my point of view, at least. For you, it might not be that interesting, but that's okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, I need 62 of 1, 2, 3, 4. 62 and a half, precisely, to get that time of 250 skips in 67 seconds. So, just getting a feel for the rope. That's good. All right. Time to get on. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. I'm just adjusting the handle a little bit. Okay. It feels different, especially from the feet perspective. It's one thing, this rope keeps twisting. You see how it kind of naturally twists like that? I'm wondering if that kind of plays a role. Okay. Took it out just by stretching it a little bit. Huh. I'm going to try it one more time. Just to see. There, it's not kind of twisting naturally. It's a subtle thing, but it adds up. So, I'm going to try slightly wider. Wow. That was a good attempt. Very good. I will have to watch back the replay to see if I did it or not. I think it was close. One thing I tried to do was relax as much as I could by holding the handles as gently as I could. And I've talked about this in the past, and it plays a role in terms of my ability to keep up with that pace, because that rope is a little bit heavier. So, and with that, the repetitions accumulate faster when, especially when factoring in my VO2 capability. And so when it starts to hurt, obviously that's the area where I'm getting into the anaerobic type of discomfort based off the the presentation that I shared earlier this week. It was Dr. Jack Daniels, I think his name was. So thinking about what he shared and how I've been training myself to increase my VO2. I think it helps because it's all about building the tolerance that your body has to increase your delivery of the volume of oxygen. So when it gets to that point when your performance is, or your movement is stronger than your body's ability to deliver the volume or the oxygen, then you know you have surpassed your maximum ability for your body to deliver that VO2 or to deliver the oxygen. Now, if there's one thing I've noticed just in the last 30 seconds is an increase in the sensation from that of the X49. So I can really, I'm sensing that, and I think that has to do with my body looking for energy from muscle sources, because your body can also utilize existing muscle as a source of energy. So, and that typically occurs when you have a higher percentage of omega-6s inside that of the cells within your body. And there is a piece of that muscle cell that is reserved for omegas, whether it's omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. And when your body has a higher percentage of omega-6 per se, that cell can be converted into energy very fast, faster than burning fat cells. So, and could that be one of the reasons why I sense the activation of the X49 is because if there's any amino acids that are in that cell or part of that cell, do they get released into the bloodstream? And I think the answer is yes, because it kind of makes sense when I'm noticing the sensation now all of a sudden increase. Now, does that become an advantage, let's say, when it comes to creating energy to perform a particular task at the highest level? Gee, I wonder if it does. Because I don't think there's a coincidence that I'm sensing this sensation. Because I can smell it in my body from within. And it's, for me, it's very distinct. Now, the more I recover here from with my heart rate, I can sense it. It's becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, like I said, does the water play a role with that? I think it does, because your body needs to have the hydrogen as a fuel source, and that's what it's known as the most how would you say, explosive element on the planet. Remember the days of the hydrogen balloons? Those things were pretty volatile. You don't want to have a match going by those things. So, does it provide the same kind of energy inside the body? It does. Because I recover pretty fast. And I'm going to try it again now. The fitness stress test with the beaded rope. So this rope is kind of in the middle between the black one, which is a 1/4 pound rope. It's a 9-foot length. This one here is about the same length as 9 feet. It's very close. But with the beads, I would say it's maybe 75% of the 1/4. I think that's whereabouts. Whereas the ropemaster is about half of that. So, you know, does it play a role when I'm doing this test? It does. All right, so now since I have recovered more or less, I'm going to try with this rope here. I can certainly feel the tension left from the first rope because of the way I was holding it. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. Now this rope I skip at 165, no problem. Oh, I tripped. Feels good. It's certainly different. Feels different. The sound of the rope feels different, but also the handles. And that was one thing I commented on last week. These ones are not as sturdy as the ropemaster. These ones have a little bit of bend in them. It's not much, but I can feel it when I am skipping at 224. I can feel that flex. So what I'm going to do, see if I can just shorten this ever so slightly. And this is how you adjust the rope. So basically there is a, I'm just going to do this here. So this is how it is. And I tie a knot here so that way if this end here rubs off on by spinning on the inside, then at least the knot here will prevent the beads from flying off. So that's why I have a secondary knot right here, in addition to this this is called, I don't know what you call this, an insert, I guess you could say. So what I'm doing is just changing the length here. And then this is going to fit inside like this. There we go. So it's about the same now inside on each. Yeah, slightly. Oops. And then you take the handle and just pull it through like this, and that's how you adjust this rope. So it's easy peasy, super adjustable. And all I do is just, after a period of time, I replace the rope. Just went to the hardware store and grabbed, I don't know, 4 or 5, or maybe it's a 3 millimeter rope, and it's just a standard nylon one, and it'll last a long time. And the beads, after a period of time, they do start to crack. There's one here that I changed the position. I don't know if you can see it. You can see there, you see the bead. So this one was in the center kind of thing, and I just changed its position to the end so I still have the weight. And works pretty good. So now I'm going to try the ropemaster. So this one here is this is called, I think, the flagship model that was Buddy Lee's favorite for a very long time, and probably still is one of his favorite ropes, largely because I think the handles are super light, but so this is the ropemaster that I'm talking about. So you can still find these. It's not available directly from Buddy Lee anymore, but you can find it elsewhere. And it is a little bit more on the pricey side, but the performance of this rope is very good. There's no bend in this handle at all. So when you're spinning the rope at 224 or 3.713 revolutions per second, you feel the precision from it. And that's what I like the most about this particular rope. And I'm going to try again 224, 250 skips with this rope. I successfully did this test last week at 224 with this rope. I nailed it, whereas I did more skips than I needed to, and we'll see how it goes today. Alright, just adjusting the rope. Oh yeah, trip, trippity trip, trip, trip. that's all I'm going to do for today. Starting to feel a little bit of the fatigue, so that's why I'm going to call it a day today. So, today's date stamp, April 4th, 2026. Starting time at 2:01 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And maximum heart rate I hit at 164. So I was in that moderate. At that speed, you know, it certainly builds faster in terms of my maximum heart rate, you know, as it starts to climb. And I do try to breathe steady and relaxed. But today was kind of on the challenging side. So here, I don't know what happened there, 164. That's probably where I hit it. Or no, I hit it probably here again. 164. So that top dotted line is 150. So you can see how quickly my heart rate recovers. Relatively quite good. And happened again. So overall, I think a solid sunny Saturday with a 10-minute HIIT, followed by the 3 attempts for the fitness stress test. And I probably should have allowed my heart rate to recover here in the last one, but I was just wanted to get this over and done with. So tune in on Monday for another episode of Move It Monday, and enjoy spending time with your family in this time of year. Happy Easter to you and everyone in your family if you're following along, and God bless. Bye for now.